This is an HP Touchpad, a device that infamously lasted less than 2 months on the market back in 2011. And while most people remember this thing as a spectacular failure, I say that this was simply too pure for this cruel world. So today, let's rescue this one from its rapidly expanding internal battery and see how good we could have had it if webOS stuck around. So stay tuned. And if you enjoy obsessing over the obscure dregs of computing history, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. The HP Touchpad released in mid-2011 here in the US, and this may shock you, but I really wanted one. Back then I had lots of friends with iPads, and I wanted to get in on this new tablet revolution. But I didn't want to be trapped in Apple's stupid walled garden or be forced to suffer through the 2011 Android tablet experience. Ugh. So when this touchpad was announced, it seemed like the perfect thing. All black with a sleek black and blue interface, giving strong Fedora Core Linux vibes. The only problem was they started at $500 for just the base model, which had 16 gigs of space, and went up to $700 for 64 gigs. Now that wasn't so outlandish. The iPad 2 launched around the same time and started at $500. But it turns out most people weren't looking for a hackable Fedora Core Linux vibe. They were looking for an iPad, and HP gave up on this touchpad less than 2 months after it hit the shelves. But that's actually where this touchpad got a whole second life. HP slashed the prices from $500 to, how do we get rid of these things? Oh, $99, which led to 2011 me desperately calling around to every Best Buy and Radio Shack within 100 miles, trying to score one of the last ones of these things. But I didn't. They were all sold out, and I always really felt like I missed out. Well, up until a few days ago at VCF Midwest, when someone generously donated this to the channel. Thank you so much for that, by the way. This thing really made my day. There's a lot more to the HP Touchpad and webOS story, but let's get this one happy and working right again because its battery is literally busting through the back of it. Right after this quick word about today's sponsor, HelloFresh. Okay, let me get something out of the way real quick. I am terrible at cooking. But as you might know, I've been trying really hard to be healthier this year, which is one of the reasons I was really excited to partner with HelloFresh. Now, HelloFresh hardly needs any introduction these days. Everyone knows that they offer high-quality ingredients with recipes that are easy and fun to prepare at home. And boy, do they offer a lot of recipes. It's their biggest menu yet with 50 plus healthy dinner options and even more market items that can support any healthy lifestyle. For example, this vegan mushroom soy ramen only takes 10 minutes to prep, 35 minutes to cook, and a serving is just 530 calories. The recipe on the card is almost more like a video game walkthrough guide than a traditional recipe. Very easy to follow along with, and plain instructions make it really simple. Are you helping? Are you helping? HelloFresh lets you easily customize your delivery from week to week, mix and match options like fit and wholesome, family-friendly, quick and easy, vegetarian, and more. Easily adjust your delivery date or skip a week if you're not going to be home. Brand new subscribers who use my promo will get a totally free breakfast item with every single HelloFresh delivery. But wait, there's more. Use my promo for 10 free meals in addition to that free breakfast item for life. So thank you HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you check out the link down below, scan that QR code, and use my promo code RETROSEP10. And now, back to the touchpad. So this original battery has started expanding so much in here, you can see where it's pressing against the LCD. We're lucky this display has not been permanently damaged or cracked. And as with all good things, iFixit has a guide for this. In fact, they have a lot of guides for the HP Touchpad. This does seem a little difficult. A lot of stuff has to come apart to get to the battery connector. But it's not too bad. Whew. They definitely were not going for ease of maintenance on this thing. Look at this mid-2010s dried up rubber carnage. Oh yeah, there's our culprit. Look at this spicy pillow. Yeah, unfortunately we have to continue taking this thing apart to get down to the battery connector, which is under this board here. All that to get to this one connector for the battery underneath. Now, I don't think HP wanted this to be repairable. Yeah, so new battery versus original battery. You can definitely see the problem. I guess I should be grateful that you can still get new batteries for these at all. I mean, we could barely disassemble the thing without it disintegrating. So I can't imagine many people are trying to repair HP touchpads these days. But we sure are. I'm sure this will be worth it, and we will have a totally usable experience here in 2024. And I guess I'm just gonna scrape off the remaining dried up rubber from the edge of this thing, because it is disgusting and literally turning into dust. Alright, well, before I try to smash this back into its housing, I guess let's see if it turns on. Hey, look at that! It just wants a charge. I think we did it. Yeah, look at that. It's alive. Well, here it is, our reconstituted HP Touchpad, and it seems to be working just fine. Battery has fully charged and is holding a charge. And wouldn't you know, there is a whole bunch of software already installed. Look at that, look at all these apps. We have quite a number of soundboards installed. Excellent. Something called Earth Now, a few religious apps, Khan Academy, and of course, the ubiquitous Angry Birds HD.
Come on. First, good morning. John Kimball. Nice to have a police officer. Nice to meet you. Stop it! Stop whining.
We can make some prank phone calls with this thing. Alright, well, sound works. What else is on here? We have Saber Ultimate. What in the world is this? Oh. It's a lightsaber. Oh, well, the accelerometer works. And I just want to take a moment to appreciate how nice webOS is. I mean, this really looks fantastic. It functions pretty smoothly, and yeah, I like this better than iOS of the same vintage, and certainly better than the mess that was Android at the time. Yeah, look how nice this is. As far as default apps go, we have a web browser, and this was able to connect to my Wi-Fi just fine. So we can go to Frog Find, and yeah, there's Frog Find. Nice and smooth. We can even go to good old Google, a search engine slightly worse than Frog Find. And it's the old version, and has some SSL issues, but yeah, it still works. Yeah, there we go, Google search results. I went to one of those What's My User Agent websites, and this thing reports itself as HP Tablet Linux HP webOS 3.0.5. So I'm sure this is confusing people who work in web analytics somewhere. Look how nice that is. Beautiful. We've got all of our favorites like calendar, emails, nice and fluid switching between them. This is so much nicer than an iPad. Why would you buy an iPad over this? We've got all of our favorite settings like VPN and sounds and ringtones with a Beats Audio logo for some reason. Oh yeah, turn these sounds all the way up. Ringtone volume? Why does this have a ringtone? This is not a phone. What is exhibition? Oh, I guess if you wanted to just sit this on your desk, kind of like what an iPhone does now if you put it on its MagSafe on its side. Wow, this thing is really ahead of its time. Alright, well of course you know we're not going to get out of here without playing some Angry Birds, because what else were you doing on a tablet in 2011? Oh, this speaker's pretty loud. Volume controls work. Look how nice this screen is. Honestly, for 2011, not too bad. This is perfectly serviceable. Aha! Almost got him. Nope. And one more extremely cool thing is that, well, as with any interesting and obscure piece of technology, there are people trying to keep the webOS platform alive-ish. This is the webOS Archive and webOS App Museum, and you can actually install this on the device, which, well, you kind of have to do it that way if you want to install apps from this service, but this is pretty much everything that was available on the App Store, available still here in this archive for install. And I think it's worth doing a separate video on how to reinvigorate one of these HP Touchpads with the original App Store, but we'll save that for another day because, wow, that is quite cool, and there are some interesting looking games on here. If you want to know more about the weird history of the HP Touchpad, including the fact that they were so successful with the fire sale, they actually did another run of these with the leftover parts they had, I'm going to link to an article by Ernie Smith on Tedium down below. It's really interesting. And the untimely demise of the HP Touchpad was not the end of webOS, the operating system. That also lived kind of a weird afterlife, and in fact, it still exists today. It went open source at one point after this, and then LG bought it, and it's actually still powering some of their TVs today. But in any event, that'll do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more weird old tech like this, please subscribe down below, and thank you very much for watching. And a special thanks to Alex Hoffman, Alex the Rat, Andrew Nicholson, April White, Chris Biggs, Chris Calderon, Chris Nelson, Control-Alt-Reese, Darren Johnstone, Dave's Garage, Drew Hamlin, Eduardo Fonseca, 3 Hours 9, Frodo Jedi, Gaspar Heller, George Rzansky, Graham, Greg from Rutk Mods, Harris Brody, JS, James Fryman, James Laurie, Jason Pepas, Camille Rakowski, Lyle Truid, Matthew Crowell, Nick Daniels, Oh It's Just Jose, Paul Spencer, Ryan, Scott Cedarbaum, Scott Thompson, Steve Salavan, Tom Woodfin, Unknown Soldier 41, Veronica Explains, and Xantronics Industrial, who are my highest tiered patrons and all of my Patreon supporters for helping to make these videos possible.